Hey Rob, Josh Duty here, trying real quickly to walk you through kind of how I do what you're mentioning, which is send a lead magnet to someone who requested it, but then also give them an opportunity to request something that's a little bit closer to their current needs. Um, I have not scripted this, so I'm just going to try and walk through it pretty quickly. My guess is you'll want to watch this video a couple of times, so we'll see. So I'm looking at my counteroffer email template page. This is a pretty popular page on my site. And there's an opt-in down here for some email templates and also one of Brennan Dunn's nifty little slide-ins that I stole. So what I'm going to show you is what would happen if somebody requested these 7 salary negotiation email templates is what I call them. So now I'm going to jump through these tabs and just kind of try and show you the process and emphasize this segmenting. So these are the 3 main workflows here. This main workflow is actually sort of the parent workflow, and these 2 down here are nested workflows, as you'll see. And so the first place that they go into when they submit that form is this workflow. When you submit that form or any number of other forms, I apply a tag that they requested a lead magnet, and then I start this workflow. So I apply the start a workflow tag, which is pretty typical. And then I start this nested workflow, FSN lead magnet, send lead magnet. So to this point, they've requested some email templates. I tag them as requested an email template, and also set a custom field, I think, behind the scenes to say which thing that they're asking for right now. So in this lead magnet workflow, we start the workflow, and then I apply this custom tag using a liquid field, subscriber.leadMagnetRequested. So that lead magnet requested custom field is set when they download the lead magnet. Each lead magnet opt-in form sets a different field. So in this case, subscriber.leadMagnetRequested would be something like negotiate email templates. And so I'm setting that field based on the last thing that they asked for, and then moving them through this workflow. So once I set this tag, sending and then liquid tag, in this case it would be sending dash negotiation underscore email templates, which is what they requested. And so the goal is triggered and they're pulled down here. And you can see if I scroll real quick, there's sending interview cheat sheet, which is a popular one, or sample chapter for negotiation, and that sort of thing. So I'm kind of on the fly creating that tag, tagging them with it using liquid, and then pulling them to the appropriate part in this workflow where they would get that thing that they asked for. So the first thing I do when they're pulled to this goal, which signifies the lead magnet they requested, is I set this current focus field. This is pretty key. So it's a custom field called current focus. I'm firing an event here, and I'm saying negotiate. So basically I'm making an assumption that, well, they requested the email templates for salary negotiation. I'm assuming that their current focus is negotiation. So I'm going to set that to negotiate, and I'm going to set it by drip, meaning this is an assumption that drip is making. It's automated, and there's not any human intervention as of yet. So now I need to send them the thing they asked for. So I send a one-off email with a link to download the free salary negotiation email templates. I won't show that because it's very simple. It's basically just, literally here are your templates, click here to download. I set a tag that says I sent them those things. I wait 2 hours, and this is where I allow a window for segmenting. So I wait 2 hours and I send this did you get it email. So to recap really quick, they requested email templates. I sent a field that said they requested email templates. I have sent them those email templates, and now I'm sending them this follow-up email that says, did you get it? So when they get this email, you can see that I say, I sent you some email templates, just wanted to make sure you got them. By the way, this is actually pretty useful. Sometimes people will say they didn't get them, and this gives me an opportunity to sort of manually follow up and make sure they got them. So that's a good benefit of this email. This isn't just sort of marketing speak to get in their inbox. And then I also say, what are you focused on right now? So this is where the segmentation happens. Just click the link below that best describes your current focus. And there are 5 options here, but only really 3. I'm giving them more than one option because I want to know what they click. But the 3 options are interview, negotiate, and a raise, getting a salary increase at your current job. So what happens here is these are all triggered links. And so when they click one of these links, for example, if they were to click interviewing, then what I would do is redirect them to a thanks again page, which is sort of a thank you page that I set up just for people who are already on my list, so it doesn't mess with my Google Analytics tracking stuff. But that fires a custom event, and that custom event will reset that current focus field that we looked at earlier. So for this person, it would be negotiate, and then they would click interviewing, and I would reset it to interview, and then change the set by field that I showed you to say subscriber instead of drip. So I'm basically firing an event to say this person manually clicked the link. The result of that link is they're actually focused on interviewing, not negotiating, and then I signify that by setting the set by field to subscriber. I'm also recording a date when this happens, so I can kind of use it for future segmentation. So if they click one of those first three, that's what happens. Looking for new opportunities also sets it as interview. It's just a different way for them to sort of segment. And then just browsing just leaves it as is, but signals that they clicked a link. So I have data that they clicked a link, but that they're not interested in anything in particular, and I just let them continue going on whatever track they were on. So at this point, they've downloaded the templates. They got the templates in an email. 2 hours later, they got this email that says, did you get it? Maybe they clicked a link in this email. When they click a link, I update their current focus field to say interview in this case, and I also redirect them to a thank you page that I offered them to buy something. And then if we go back to the workflow here, after did you get it, I basically just finish off the workflow. So did you get it? I remove this thing that says I was sending them the sample so I know that they've got it. I apply the completed workflow tag and I exit. So that's all this does. Then we're going to go back to our main workflow. This is the lead magnet workflow we just finished. Then I wait a day. So basically I'm sending them that did you get it email. I'm giving them 1 day to click that link. So I have an assumption that in this case was negotiate. They have 1 day to click a link, and I'm saying sometime in that day the person actually said, oh, I'm actually interviewing right now, I'm not negotiating yet. And so that gives me an opportunity to update all the fields in the back end to say, when I come down to this next step a day later and I start sending the actual sample lessons that follow the lead magnet, I'm going to put them in a different stream so that they get sample lessons that are applicable to whatever they're doing right now. So here's what that workflow looks like. Here, sample lessons. So now we start the sample lessons workflow after a day. They've had a day to click the link. If they've clicked it or not doesn't matter at this point because I'm keeping everything is off this current focus field. So I say, is the current focus interview? In this case, it would be yes, because we said they clicked the link to say they're interviewing, not negotiating. So yes comes over here. I start a campaign. I send them interview samples, and then that's a 3 or 4 email campaign. I'll show it to you real quick. It's here. So here are interview samples. So you can see interview and negotiate samples are the 2 most popular things that I have. So in this case, they would have gotten the negotiate samples based on the thing they downloaded, but because they clicked that interview link in the did you get it email, I'm actually going to send them these interview samples. And so they're going to get this little 3 email sequence that has stuff about interviewing, which you can see common interview questions, questions you should ask in interviews, interview mistake, which of course would be in contrast to negotiate email stuff where I would give them samples on how to negotiate. And that may not be as applicable to them. So what's your walk-away number, a salary negotiation tactic, and that sort of thing. So coming back here, I key off the current focus field, which was set when they clicked the link. I send them that little campaign that I just showed you, and then I exit the workflow, and I go back to my main workflow. Now they've gotten the lead magnet they asked for. They've had 1 day to update their preference on the stuff that they're interested right now. I sent them some lessons for a few days on the stuff they're interested right now. I wait a couple of days until the next Monday or Tuesday, and then I move them into the sale sequence that I have. So that's what I'm doing. It's all driven off that current focus field, which is on the back end. I'm using some triggered links to set it. I also set a default when they first ask for the lead magnet. So I make an assumption. I give them an opportunity, which is a 1-day window, to change that assumption. And then regardless of what they've done, the next day I move forward and I just look at that current focus field and I send them a campaign with sample lessons based on whatever their current focus is. I think this helps a lot, and you probably saw pretty good open rates and click-through rates on those sample emails. I think a lot of that is driven by the fact that they are more often than not getting sample emails that align with their current needs as they've raised their hand to let me know about them. So I think that helps kind of drive engagement. All right, hope this helps. You may want to watch this video a couple of times, and of course, reach out to me in the group on Facebook if you have any questions. Good luck.